Hello guys, today I wanted to tell you about the Gith race. Also, if you like this video format, I will make a video about other races of the Forgotten Realms. Well, let's get started. The Gith race was a humanoid who had been enslaved by mind flayers for countless generations. Some sages claimed that they were once descended from humans, while others maintained that the original race was in fact unknown. Philosophical differences led to a bitter internal conflict, which divided the Gith into many different races at constant odds with each other, the Githyanki and the Gizare. Gith were tall and emaciated-looking humanoids. They had pale yellow skin, sometimes with greenish or brownish tones. Their skulls were long and angular, with deep-set eyes and flattened noses, and pointed serrated ears. Typical hair colors included black, red, russet, and sometimes gray. The Gith were an utterly sundered race, divided by generations of conflicts and ideological differences. The two main sects of the Gith people regarded each other with nothing but contempt, hate, and wariness. The intense hatred that divided the race was further exploited and amplified by the mind flayers themselves, who kept spies in both Githyanki and Gizrai communities tasked with stalking the ancient rivalries. However, a splendid faction of renegade Githyanki and Githarai known as the Shazal Ku sought to overcome the differences between the two races and bring them together as a single people. They worked secretly within the two races, discouraging violence against each other in the hopes of becoming able to call their people simply Gith. The other sub-race existed among the Gith. The isolationist pirates of Gith chose to remain in the prime material plane and did not follow their cousins into the astral plane or limbo. Instead, they chose a lifestyle of piracy in wild space, although they retained their extremely militarized society. And the Githwairik, a small group of Gith who did not identify as either Githyanki or Githarai. The ancient origin of the Gith was clouded in mystery. Even the name of the original race, which some refer to as the Forerunners, was lost in time. Some sources claim that they were originally humans from a world called Faragos, located in the unknown crystal sphere which had been conquered by the Illithids during the expansion of their empire, and who had been slowly altered by the Mind Flayers' genetics experiments. Others claim that they might have been created by the Illithid themselves from mixing humanoid hosts with powers from the far realm. It had been suggested that the enslavement of the Gith happened during the early expansion of the Mind Flayer Empire. Whether the Gith were human or some unknown humanoid race, centuries of servitude and selective breeding changed them considerably. In a practical sense, the Gith were in fact made by mind flayers. Although revolts were not uncommon among the mind flayers as slaves, for a long time they posed no challenge. However, over time some slaves developed some resistance against their master's mind control and started secretly improving their psionic abilities. Then they judged that the time was right. The Forerunners, under the guidance of their leader Gith, revolted in the uprising, causing a chain reaction that culminated in the death of countless elder brains and ushered the downfall of the entire Illithid Empire. In less than a year, the devastation brought the Mind Flayer to the brink of extinction and forced the surviving enclaves into hiding, a downfall from which they never fully recovered. Soon after conquering their freedom, Gith ordered the continuation of the war effort. The Mind Flayers were to be hunted down to the last one, and the Gith were to establish a new empire based on conquest. At this point, Zarthemon, a Gith who had gathered a significant following during the fight for freedom, challenged Gith's relationship and her motives, arguing that she would end up leading the people into the similar tyranny that their former masters enforced. The disagreement led to a violent civil war among the Gith. Zerfemon was killed, and his followers, who called themselves Gizzerai, retreated to Limbo in defeat, but not before dealing substantial damage to the Gith forces. Which could no longer sustain a continuing campaign against the Mind Flayers. This internal struggle gave sufficient time for surviving Mind Flayers to retreat and hide in well-defended underground. Gith led her surviving followers to the former elite settlements in the astral plane, where they could regroup and gather their strength in order to resume their plans of conquering the entire multiverse, and as well as exterminating both the Mind Flayers and Gizray. Thus, the two divided races remained bitter enemies that constantly thwarted each other's plans. The Githyanki expanded their conquering efforts to include raids into Githzerai strongholds. The Githzerai, while also deploying missions to root out the destroyed elite settlements, maintained a steady effort to oppose Githyanki militaristic expansion. This enduring conflict prevented either race from obtaining a decisive victory against the Mind Flayers and brought the conflict to a stalemate. On this, my story came to an end. If you liked the video, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you later.